Hi, everyone. I believe I'm on. All right. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Pierre Benoit, and we're going to talk about HypnoDream analysis and how it can help in your practice. So basically, the objective of this presentation, we're going to go through a few things. The first one is you'll be able to differentiate between what dream interpretation and dream analysis, which has an important difference, especially in hypnotherapy. We're also going to talk a bit about, incorporating HypnoDream analysis within your practice, and you'll be able to identify the 3 stages of dream sleep. I'll also give you 10 reasons for you to use HypnoDream analysis in your practice, and the 7 important things to look for in a dream. So I'm just going to share my screen, and I'll take your questions at the end. If I don't get to answer everybody's question at the end, just feel free to send them to me by email, and I'll do my best to get back to you as fast as possible. So let's give this a shot. Okay. Okay, so I'm not in the right. Just give me a second. I'll kind of have to adjust my PowerPoint so we get to the first.
You're all good, darling. We've all been there.
Pardon me?
Oh, good. We've all been there and done that. Now, I've just put the download into the chat and Pierre's webpage as well. And whilst he gets organized, one of my students in the modern mentoring actually purchased the HypnoDream analysis of Pierre and then asked me if she could run a workshop here in Ballarat. And she had 12 people here, and it was, oh my God, it was amazing. I just attended as an attendee, and I was like, oh my gosh, we had all these light bulb moments, and one lady was having nightmares about stuff, and when she went through your process, all of a sudden she's like, oh my gosh, I'm running away from this, but I should be running towards it. So thank you, Pierre. Like, it's some amazing work. It really is. So take it away.
Great. So basically, like Trish said, it's a tool that we can use to help our clients move towards their well-being. But let me tell you a bit who I am. I'm a registered counseling clinical hypnotherapist, and I'm also a child and family special care counselor. And I've had like over 40 years of experience within that field. I've been working full-time as a hypnotherapist for the last 18 years. And I'm also a member of the board of directors of an Eastern Canadian representative and director of education for the Association of Registered Clinical Hypnotherapists of Canada. So that kind of tells you a bit about who I am, but I don't want to spend much time on that. Let's talk about our first thing. What's the difference between interpreting dreams and analyzing dreams? Basically, the freedictionary.com provides the following definitions. That dream interpretation is a process of simply assigning a meaning to a dream. Okay, and usually people will use dream interpretation using all the books with the general interpretations of different symbols. All right, when I talk about HypnoDream analysis, it's more of a process to derive information about the state of the unconscious mind by a free interpretation of the symbolic significance of the dream content of each client, right? So it's very different. We're not assigning meaning. We are asking the subconscious mind what the meaning of those symbols are to that person. So, having HypnoDream analysis as part of your hypnotherapy practice, well, basically, I don't know if you know, but when I start working with a client, especially when they come in for the second session or third session, they usually tell me, it's like, man, I've been dreaming lately. It's amazing, and that's because I program dreams also. But the thing is, it's also about people, they're kind of listening more to their subconscious mind, or the subconscious mind sees an opening and uses it, all right? So dreams and dream analysis reveal what's happening inside the subconscious mind. Okay. And sometimes it's kind of hard for us to kind of figure out, am I really helping or not? But this is a good way to figure it out. I always ask my client if they've noticed any changes since our last session. And I start all my sessions like that. And sometimes the changes appear to be so normal and natural that they don't notice it. And a lot. So I'll ask them, it's like, have you been dreaming? Or usually I don't even have to ask them. Most of the time they'll just say, man, I've been dreaming like crazy lately. It's amazing. And I have these weird dreams going all over the place. So that's really fun because that's the venting process of the subconscious mind. So one of the vitally significant functions of the subconscious mind is dreaming. It's its language. So dreams are the language and the direct messages from the subconscious to that person. And to enter the dream and work with it directly is an opportunity for significant subconscious changes or shifts. So HypnoDream analysis, we don't analyze or interpret. It's not true that we don't analyze because the person analyzes it for themselves. It's more of an understanding intellectually. The purpose is to experience a dream and feel the significant aspects of it at a core level. All right. So your client's dreams are simply direct messages that express their subconscious experience of themselves and the world. And by using HypnoDream analysis, it gives us a perspective of the dreams that every part of the client's dream is a part of himself. So for example, if the person's, it's like dreaming about a certain road or a color or a car, or each of these symbols is actually a part of that person. But we don't know because it's not as clear because the subconscious mind doesn't work in a logical or rational manner. So the subconscious mind formulates your dreams and it knows precisely what they're about. So through HypnoDream analysis, we use this powerful tool to access these personal insights. Okay. And we're staying away from interpretation, and it keeps us focused on direct access of the wisdom of the greatest ally and potential therapist of all, which is our own subconscious minds. And it also permits the potential for deep healing by way of the increased suggestibility inherent in the hypnotic states. So when your clients are in hypnosis, they have this access to the meanings of their dreams. It's been demonstrated clients in a medium state of hypnosis not only will free associate more readily and produce more information, but it also can interpret their own dreams accurately. Okay, because when a dream seems significant and you're not able to decipher its meaning, hypnosis is a beautiful way to acquire understanding into what it's trying to tell you. So HypnoDream analysis is a tool to tap into this unconscious material, right? It's important to know that dream symbology books are working from a very general place, like I mentioned, right? That's where people will usually interpret their dreams using general meanings. But it's important for us to know as hypnotherapists that dream symbols are unique to our client and our client's life, including ourselves, actually. Okay, so, and even though they would dream the same symbol in a month's time or in 2 years' time, it doesn't mean that it will have the same message, because dreams are not static. So although there's little research on dream analysis as a therapeutic tool, most of the research findings, though, will support the importance of dreams and the use of dream analysis as leading to positive counseling and therapy outcomes, right? A possible explanation is why many hypnotherapists not use dream interpretation is that they feel that they don't have enough training in the interpretation techniques or analysis techniques. Another possibility is that dream interpretation seems incompatible with their hypnotherapy practice, and that research on dream analysis as a therapeutic tool is quite limited. And especially, it's like when people come in and they talk about, coming into hypnosis to help themselves, they expect short-term approaches, right? One of the things as a clinical hypnotherapist that I've been moving away is from the quick fix. When I help people, I don't help people like, yes, it is still short-term therapy, but I don't kind of put people and say, okay, well, we'll deal with that in 2 or 3 sessions or whatever. No, we just take the sessions that we need in order for them to achieve their goal. I don't talk about like those short-term approaches, and I'm not interested in them because I can do more for my client. So instead of dealing with just one thing, I'll take my client's whole life and then we'll kind of break it down. Right. So I invite people to, say hypnotherapists, not to focus on the quick fix kind of thing. If you want to be seen as a serious therapist, I strongly suggest to kind of stay away of it from that as much as possible. Although they will be quite amazed at how fast they move ahead anyways. Right. Even if you, as a clinical hypnotherapist, don't plan on making dream analysis as part of the therapy process, people will still talk to you about their dreams. So by using this tool, we can assist people to become aware of and achieve their goals, enhance their overall performance and problem-solving ability, discover and understand their deeper self, and increase their focus and energy. Okay, it's a great tool, easy to use, and I'll give you all those reasons in a couple of minutes. A lot of time when people are looking for dream therapy or dream interpretation, they have one or more of these symptoms. They have nightmares or recurring dreams. Excuse me. Some have dream memories that persist through the day. Some people have out-of-body dream experiences. So there's all kinds of symptoms that kind of come up, and people will say, it's like, man, it's like, I can't, this thing keeps coming in the same nightmare. Or so usually it's there for a specific reason. Research has proven that everybody dreams for approximately 90 to 100 minutes every night. And it includes many different dreams using REM, or rapid eye movement dream cycles. People who say that they don't dream, basically they don't recall their dreams. And with hypnosis, nearly everybody may be conditioned to sleep in a manner that permits vivid dreaming and recall, and to document their dreams for analysis. So a basic understanding of the HypnoDream analysis is needed to make the best use of the natural venting process of the dreaming cycles. It gives us an understanding of the venting and emotional clearing process that occurs in regression therapy. And like I mentioned before, dreams are not static. They're very dynamic. All the symbols and dreams deal strictly with the client as an individual. And that's why when we use dream therapy in our hypnotherapeutic processes, it's a very individualistic process. It's important to remember that we as therapists are not the experts. Okay, we don't have the true interpretation of the dream that our client has, and we can't, and we don't, only your client has that, and we can't kind of just project onto them what we think is the meaning of their symbols, because they're individual, and my interpretation does not mean that I'm in the right. Right? So it's important to remember that everyone dreams. The depth of their sleep determines whether they remember what they dream or not. So the lighter the sleep, the more they remember. The sounder they sleep, the less they remember. Dr. John Kappas, the founder of the Hypnosis Motivation Institute, was a modern-day pioneer in dream analysis, and he developed a model of dream therapy currently used by many psychologists and hypnotherapists. His model considers 3 different periods in which people dream each night. There's the wishful thinking stage, the precognitive stage, and the venting stage. And for a proper dream analysis to take place, the dreams must be written down, no matter how disjointed or fragmented the memories of them are, and noting the time of each dream occurred. Okay, so when I'm doing this, I've had people bring me a full page But I've also had clients bring me like 3 or 4 lines. Whether the length does not matter, it works the same way, but it needs to be written down. And the reason I ask for noting the time of each dream is because it helps me identify into which stage the dream occurred, and if it's actually a dream that we can use in the therapeutic process. So wishful thinking dreams are basically the dreams that take place during the first third of your client's night sleep. They usually relate to the events and the thoughts of the day that the client's mind reviews and vents as is insignificant. And these dreams have little value, like as a therapeutic process. Okay, usually this is what, it's like, those are the dreams where, all the extra stress and whatever they've been through the day are just kind of being vented out. So it's just the subconscious mind, getting rid of stuff that it doesn't need anymore. The precognitive dreams, or problem-solving dreams, these are the dreams that happen in the middle of the night or about the second third of your client's sleep. These are events that your client's mind predicts will happen based on the accumulation of material which may lead to solving a problem that he or she has been working on. Most of the time, this type of dream is completely or partially lost to memory, so it's very difficult to analyze. This is the type this is the dreams that, for example, if I have a client that's difficult, and I'm kind of, I don't have enough ideas, or I don't know what to do with a specific client, the next day, I'll just, when I go to bed, I'll just tell my subconscious mind, it's like, okay, I need you to help me out with this, figure out a way, give me some ideas so that tomorrow morning when I get up, I know what to do with my client. And then I just forget it. I just go to sleep, and the next morning I get up, I have ideas. But that's where this happens. Okay, in the second part. So I don't know what really happened. All I know is I have a result. All right. So that's when you kind of tell your subconscious mind, it's like, hey, give me a menu here. The venting dreams are the dreams that happen in the last third of your client's sleep. And these are the ones that are important because they represent events, traumas, doubts, and fears that your client is removing from his past and present. They reflect those feelings or emotions which he or she no longer needs to cling to. Okay, so they must always be recognized and accepted as a venting process, and may not be misinterpreted as having precognitive value. The purpose of venting is to evacuate. We're emptying the client's cup, right? So venting dreams are always connected to what the person is venting, and this connection will be seen literally in the dream. And venting dreams also tell us when our client has solved the problem within their subconscious mind. Like I've had people coming in and they have these dreams, and when we kind of work on them, they don't come back because they were able to figure out what the symbols were, what needed to be done, and the dream doesn't come back. And they feel okay with it. So they're not overwhelmed by it or anything. So you know that something moved within them and they're moving towards their well-being. All right. So why should we use HypnoDream analysis? Well, the first reason is basically starting the flow of venting when venting has been blocked. Okay, so dreams are the only natural and complete venting process inherent in the human being. And as a result, they allow us to evacuate any overabundance of accumulated message units that we haven't been able to deal with during our waking hours. But these dreams can be blocked by unpleasant or threatening recurring dreams, fears or phobias, or the incorrect interpretation of a previous buildup of message units. And what I mean by message units is just bits of information that the conscious mind takes in and gets into the subconscious mind through their daily life. So These conditions will disturb dream cycles and will cause a person to toss and turn restlessly, wake up many times. So when the dream process is blocked or disturbed, this can create anxiety, which can result in anxiety and eventually physical or emotional pain. So at this point, HypnoDream analysis becomes essential to get the person back to their more normal functioning. Another reason is searching out a cause for symptoms with no obvious clues. Right? So many causes are elusive in conscious therapy because they're abstract or derived from symbols. For example, a person waking up fearfully from a recurring dream may be interpreting a fear of death in their sleep. It is the fear that awakens him. So a person may then exhibit symptoms of fear of loss of control when there is no actual cause except for a misunderstanding of the dream. Right? So we can help them to figure out things when there's no logical type of reason. Right? Sometimes we can do it for, it's like, if you've done like regression therapy or timeline or whatever, sometimes it just doesn't come up. So depending on the person, heck, you can use this, program a dream with regards to what they're working on. And then once they bring in a dream, we can analyze it and they can move forward. Another reason is to gauge how well your suggestions are working after the first session. Now, giving suggestions to a client to remember his dreams basically has two purposes. The first one is it lets you evaluate how well your suggestions are working because the client will tend to vent out a reaction opposite to your suggestions. And the second is when a client claims to have no memory of dreams before coming into therapy, suggestions that he will dream not only makes him remember his dreams, but also strengthen his acceptance of hypnotherapy. Basically, the fact that he dreams indicates that your suggestions are working. So what we're doing is we're setting, when you're programming a dream, it's basically a post-hypnotic suggestion, right? So this tells you if they're receptive and it works, and at the same time, it serves them to believe that what you're doing is actually working for them. Removing symptoms caused by dreams, okay? So what we mean by that is whenever dreams are taken back into the mind, literally, instead of being recognized as venting tools, they can become very powerful suggestive ideas. And when this happens, the client is in a hyper-suggestible state because of a buildup of message units which precede the anxiety state, thus causing the dreams to be real to him or her subconsciously. So this may result in the client creating negative future scenarios and increase their anxiety and may create even self-fulfilling prophecies, avoidance behaviors, and even self-sabotage. Right? Because sometimes they'll think that the dream is so real that it's a message of a future happening, and then they set their minds to it, and then they'll create it. Remember, right? The subconscious mind is there to actualize what you put in. So if you believe enough that something's going to happen, well, it's like your radar is just looking for reasons for it to happen. Another reason is to understand the symbols of the mind. So subconscious symbols are often created as a growing child's suggestibility is shaped and developed in the person's his life, and the way that he or she is taught to learn. So the child goes through many stages of development. From birth to the age of 8, his subconscious creates many symbols that will continue with him throughout his life. And as the person grows older, he will be triggered by his childhood symbols. And at that time, he will subconsciously relate not to the present, but to what the symbol meant to him at the time he conceived it. And that's why sometimes, it's like people will get triggered by something that has no place in the present, but it's because all of the meaning in the past is just thrown into the present, right? And that's why we use regression therapies, and they work so well. That same meaning will be reflected in the dreams as well. Another reason is determining when anxiety is removed. The dream process will indicate when an anxiety is dissipating, because at that time, the dreams relating to the anxiety will begin to diminish and the person's sleep will be neither too deep nor too long or short. So he'll just feel a decrease of stress during his waking hours. People will be rested. The more rested they are, the easier it is to go through their day, therefore less stress and anxiety. Another reason is to determine the cause of recurring dreams. Recurring dreams are the mind's way of trying to get rid of an event that has been misinterpreted and not consciously accepted or understood by the individual. Once the recurring dream is analyzed and understood consciously or subconsciously, it usually ceases to exist. But if the dream is not properly analyzed, however, it will reappear more frequently. You can see this also in trauma. When people go in and have a traumatic experience, sometimes the mind will kind of put it into a little drawer or a little case where, because at that moment, that person cannot deal with it. And then at a point in time, later on in life, it gets triggered, the drawer gets open, and the symptoms come out. But it's been so long that you don't really know. So it kind of comes out in a recurring dreams. They're having nightmares, and then we can help them with that. And once they determine the cause and deal with it, then the subconscious mind knows that it doesn't need to deal with it anymore, and it just lets go of the dream. Another reason is finding out why certain people who are depressed do not remember their dreams until they begin therapy. When a person is severely depressed, his mind and body have an increased need for sleep to relieve stress and confusion. Okay, depression fatigues the brain and the body, causing a person to sleep longer and deeper because they need to recuperate. So if the circumstances that cause the depression do not stop or subside, then the person reaches a point where he escapes so deeply into sleep that he inhibits the dream process and eventually experiences complete dream amnesia. So basically, they don't remember, period. So if the circumstances that cause the depression are evacuated or altered therapeutically, the person's need for deep, long sleep will decrease, and he will begin to vent more and to sleep lighter and remember his dreams. And just because they sleep lighter does not mean that it's bad. It just means that the person's depression is subsiding, which is a sign of well-being. So once this happens, the dream can be analyzed as an aid of therapy. Another reason is understanding how dreams can increase problems. The most frequent problem resulting from dreams is the individual's own misinterpretation of what his dreams mean, or an incorrect analysis of the dream by the hypnotherapist. Right? Again, we're not there to give them meaning. We are there to help them connect with their subconscious mind so that their subconscious mind can give them the meaning of their symbols. Another reason is to recognizing how dreams can give false evidence if being stimulated by physical conditions such as overeating late at night, drinking, or drugs. Most of the time, dreams can give false indications due to incidents that took place prior to sleep that cause physiological reactions. So when you start a HypnoDream therapy program with a client, his dreams will begin to conform to the suggestions that you're giving him. And these suggestions will systematically vent out the negative symbols that are in his mind. So at first, he'll dream out the conditions of the past. And when he comes to the point where the dreams are all taking place in the present, and he feels comfortable when he wakes from his dreams, the HypnoDream therapy is over. So what we need to look for in the dreams, basically one of the first things that we need to do, there's 7 points that are very important. The first one is at what stage during the night did the dream occur? We need to figure out if it's the first, second, or third. Remember, the first one is just evacuating stuff. The second one is working out problems subconsciously. But the third one is the venting process. And that's the one that we want to work with. Is the dream psychological or physiological? Right? Again, there's 2 different stages with that. all right? The timing clues, are they in the past? Were they children, or were they, adults? And that kind of gives us timing clues as to where we need to work. The content, of course, if we don't have content of the dream, we can't do anything. So they need to bring in something that's written. And the emotions that have been stirred up within the dream. The venting, and what triggered it. So these are 7 important points that gives us a good idea of how to work with the dream analysis. So basically, researchers have demonstrated that dream interpretation can lead to positive therapy outcomes. So dream interpretation or analysis can be one of many tools that clinical hypnotherapists can use to help their clients develop greater insights into their feelings, thoughts, and behaviors. And as in facilitating any counseling or hypnotherapy technique, helping clients process and interpret their dreams are much easier when the clinical hypnotherapist and client have been working together for more than a couple of sessions. So basically, this is not a technique that I will use in the first 2 or 3 sessions. Okay, there's a time for it, and we need to identify that. Most of the time is when you feel that people hit a plateau. So for example, if you're working on weight management and you hit a plateau with your client, then you can use dream analysis to get the thing going again. Okay. I encourage you to put this powerful technique into practice because it's the only way to master this technique. Okay. Clinical hypnotherapy is not a knowing art. It's a feeling art. You only get better by doing it. So basically, I believe you'll be receiving a PDF copy of my book. I think so, right, Trish?
Yep, that's right.
So within the book, you'll find that there's like 5 scripts to help program dreams with your clients also, to kind of help you out to start with. So I'm done. I'm open to questions right now.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Pierre. So does anybody have any questions about dream analysis? Because some of us have these looping dreams and triggered dreams. So does anybody have any questions? So please place them in the chat or feel free to unmute yourself because Pierre's always happy to talk to you. Hang on a second. I'm just getting the chat bubble up here as well. There we go. Found it.
Hi, Pierre. I'll put my video up too.
So that's Jeanette.
Janet,
Okay.
here. Yeah, thanks very much. I enjoyed that. I'm always sort of stumped about the dreaming. I know how I interpret my own. You mentioned, the timing, check the timing. I suppose my question is the literal timing, because I'm always encouraging people with their sleep hygiene not to check the time. So are you saying check the time exactly, or is it in the middle of the night, or can you just
it doesn't have to be absolute exact. I usually ask them about when did you dream this? At the beginning of your night, middle of, or the end?
Mm-hmm.
And 99.9% of the time it's at the end, because that's when they remember most.
Mm.
You've got sometimes people will kind of wake up during the night and then they'll write it out, and that's okay. But I just want to know approximately. I don't want the exact time. I just want to know around when, first, second, or third of the night.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of gives me a better idea. But even if they have a dream in the second part where usually they don't remember, if it's significant enough and they remember it, I invite them to write it down, because it can be important for us to analyze it. Most of the time they won't remember those, but if they do, if they have one that's very significant and right in the middle of the night and they write it down, then I tell them to bring it in so that we can check it out.
Yeah,
But it just kind of gives me an idea of if it's a worthwhile dream or not.
just to expand out on that as well, I know I had an issue, this is way before I studied hypnosis, but I know I had an issue where I was training myself to get up at 4:30 a.m. to go to the toilet. Like literally, I was getting to a stage where I would kind of half wake up from my sleep state and I'd say, must be 4:30, you need to go to the toilet. So it's like we're doing our own suggestion. Yeah. And I had to
Oh, yeah.
break that down. And I just
Yeah,
dream I
well,
need to go to the toilet.
yeah, you never want to go to the toilet when you're dreaming.
No, because you can't find the toilet. And then you wake up, you're like, oh my God, I'm busting for the toilet. Like, so
Yeah.
Kerry, what's your question, darling?
Pierre, you mentioned so yeah, waking up and writing the dream down. So I guess I have a question, two parts to my question. One is, does that disturb the quality of the sleep, because they're obviously waking up, writing it down, and then falling back asleep? And the second part is, if the client, I know I'm maybe answering by suggesting that we would be giving them suggestions, but if you're asking the client to wake up, then obviously there's some form of I'll use the word training, or is it done through suggestions to get them to wake up?
No, but basically, if in the scripts that I've provided for like to program dreams, when I get them to wake up to write the dream down, I also program them to just kind of go back to sleep easily. All right, so it's not just, I don't want them to be completely awake. Most of the time, you know, it's like they will kind of jot down a couple of notes or something like that, and then they'll complete it the next in the morning, because they'll kind of reread and stuff, and you know, they all have their own ways of doing it. But when I program them, it's like, okay, you'll just kind of, you'll keep a pen and paper beside you, you know, it's like, and when you have a significant dream that has everything to do with why you're coming to see me, you will simply open your eyes, write down your dream, and once you've finished write down your dream, you'll easily get back to sleep in a deep, restful sleep all the way to for the rest of your night. So it's all right. So yeah, I don't want to kind of get them to, you know, it's like develop a second problem. You know, it's like, well, I can't sleep anymore, I dream too much.
So I guess this process is really for the people that are wanting to do something with their dreams, as opposed to the person that says, hey, I wouldn't mind just recording my dreams and see if there's something in them. Because the person that's not, I guess, making a deliberate part of waking up, they need the suggestions, I guess is what I'm saying, to help that process be more seamless, rather than no suggestions where people are just trying to randomly wake themselves up.
Yeah, it's always part of a therapeutic process.
Yeah, cool. Yep, makes perfect sense now. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Do we have any other questions from anybody about HypnoDream analysis? Now, Pierre, you have some training on this, is that correct?
Yes, I haven't set the date yet, but
He's getting there.
I'm getting there, because you know, it's just that right now I have too many things. I should have 3 of me.
Don't we all? Don't we all?
Yeah. So yeah, but within the next 2 to 3 months, I will set a date for the training, and everybody here, you know, I'm providing a $25 discount for it.
And I will send out, email those links out as soon as I know, and I'll keep hounding Pierre. I'll be like, when is it? When is it? When is it? Come on.
But just so that you know, is if you choose to come to the training, you'll have to bring a dream, because when I train people, I just don't give them just stuff. You get to practice. You know, it's like, so I focus a lot more on practicing than theory. So I give you what you need to know, and then we just use it. Like I say, it's not a knowing art, it's a feeling art. And the only way to feel it is to do it.
Love it. So take those dreams and put them in a jar and keep them safe for the training, okay?
We'll write it down.
In a jar.
All
Thank you
right.
so much, Pierre. So if nobody else has any other questions, we are going on a lunch break now, but we do have some lunch break entertainment if you want to join on in. So bring your sangers, bring your VB, whatever it is that you're bringing. We have Stefan Sageman, and he's going to be teaching everybody some stage hypnosis tricks. So if you want to join in, come on in. So thank you so much for Pierre. It's probably late at night for you now, isn't it?
Well, it's not bad. It's 7:40.
Oh, that's not so bad.
Yeah,
Not
so
so
I'm
bad.
good. I'm good this time. So,
Good, good. All right, lovelies. I will catch you over with Stefan doing stage hypnosis and teaching you some tricks for the trade. Thank you, guys. I'll see you shortly. Bye-bye.
thank you, everybody. Thanks for being here. Bye-bye.
Bye.